Welcome to Building 341 with DJ Rubber Band and Caddy B. We chilling, y'all. We just trying to feed y'all. We just giving y'all a slow stir up this mount, y'all. Be patient with us. Be patient with us, you know. So, Caddy, what we talking about today, Caddy?
You want to talk about people's feelings? How they sensitive? They salty?
No, I didn't
We
want
got
to
some
really
mama
want to
talk
get
we got to talk about.
like deep, but I wanted to kind of say, do you feel like music, where music is now, has something to do with, like, nowadays you can't really say something to somebody. Like, if somebody got a big head and you go, Negro, you need a helmet on your head. You got a big ass head. You can't do that. That's
You can't talk
wrong.
about people riding this short bus, and
You can't do none of that. And then when we look at our gang culture right now, and this current, is not saying they not hard, not saying they not putting in work, but when everything is televised, the game is different. The
it
game is
is.
different. And the
It
music is
is.
different. And we're a music channel with every kind of aspect of music and culture. And the culture's different. Caddy, like, think about you being in junior high school and some girl walk up to you and go, Caddy, Michael said he gonna beat your ass when y'all go to recess because you live across the tracks. And everybody go, ooh, Caddy, you gonna fight. Nowadays, it's on Instagram, TikTok. Like,
We
they
was getting it
literally show
in
videos
between
of people fighting.
classes. Yeah.
Now, how was it for you in high school or junior high? Did they do that? I'm whooping your ass at 3:00 when we got out of school. How was it?
Oh no, we would get it in the halls in between class.
See,
Just
and
right
I'm not
there
saying they
when the
don't
bell
do all
came
that.
out. I got into it in class once, but that was different.
And you know that P Love was in San Diego, you know. Look, that P Love. Oh, that P Love. So how do you feel
It's funny.
about
So it's funny though. Like I remember, like in when I was in Dago, I didn't really get into it with ops like that.
Oh, you
Like,
didn't? So San Diego ain't like
nah,
that, huh?
it was, but where I was at in Oceanside and stuff, there wasn't any EPs in there
Right.
yet. Now they're all over in Oceanside. Like last time I was down there, I walked by some cat. He was just like, "What's up?" But it's like, I don't know, it was different.
Right. Culture changes so much, you know.
Yeah.
And I look at it, for me, like, I won't over glamorize it, but I will say that part of the culture for me helped me grow in a lot of different ways. And I feel like, at certain extent, gang banging should be transition. It should be a transitional stage. I feel like it's kind of like the Boy Scouts for me. Like, everybody wanted to do it or tried to do it. You know what I mean? And it was different. It was a different, I think, and see how we start with something and go in somewhere else. I feel like the story
But it's
of
a feather
gang
in your
banging.
cap. Like, it's something that is there.
Yeah, I feel like the story of gang banging, as it pertained to California, hasn't been told yet. I feel like Kev Mack, I feel like Street Gangs TV, I feel like all these other young cats is coming in and murdering the information, but it's generations of it. And it was started by a kid. Like, when you talk about Tookie and all of them, they were kids.
They was all kids.
Like, my big homies today are in their 60s. Like, my big homies, and my big homies was second generation almost. Like, in the 70s, gangs they just came and just changed everything. And so our music ultimately started to change. And the architects of NWA may be easy, but other than that, none of them was like banging hard. But they brought it forward and made it. And so now with these young people right now, when they talk about killing and rap music, and it's all kind of talking about that heavy mess, youngsters don't listen to the oldies. They don't listen to the old dudes. They do what they want to do.
Well, yeah, because they all just feel that we're not relevant.
Right.
Because we don't understand. Like we've never been where they are. And they don't
Right.
realize that, I've forgotten more than you'll ever know. I've
Right.
been there. I've done everything that you can think of twice over. There's nothing out that's ever new. Music or what you're going through in life, like somebody's done it twice, at least.
But for you and both of us to some extent, just mine was done differently. When drugs entered into the game on a major level, gang banging changed forever. Because you got to remember, it was no money in gang banging. You got to think about what we did in our neighborhood. Most of us had a mama or a daddy, or you know what I mean. And so economically, when I lived in Inglewood, in the bottoms of Inglewood, California, it's apartments. It's all apartments. It's some houses, but it's mostly apartments. So the gangs that you get from those places are different in Inglewood than the gangs you would get going down the avenues, because they were nice houses, but they were still deadly. When you moved towards Prairie, where it was a few Crips, or you moved on a certain part, you know what I mean? And so culturally, it's so many levels to the game. And like some gangs, my OGs, they mostly listen to oldies. They never really listen to a bunch of rap stuff.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like most of the OGs, that they was doing drive-bys with old schools playing. You got Marvin Gaye playing while you're doing a drive-by. You know what I mean? It's like they wasn't listening to Percocet. It was
right.
just
I mean, even though they had pills too in the 70s, they didn't have. Yeah, it wasn't those kind of pills,
Well, no, because like we've discussed it before, it wasn't cool to be a knock. It was
right. But when it comes to the P, and I feel like I'm part of this narrative too, is when it came to music, you guys just had all the top artists was Rips. All the top artists was Rips.
Yeah.
And so I remember, like, you didn't want to listen to them, but you had to listen to all of them. And then you would see them back then. You would see, you know what I mean? You would see King T. You would see Ice T. You like all of them was
I mean, Battle Cat and
all about, and like I said, I ain't gonna put his stuff out, but you indirectly back then, before the internet, you just knew where everybody was from. Battle Cat used to DJ at this place called the Cave. A lot of us, like Arabian Prince from NWA, used to DJ at the Cave, and we used to carry the records and help out, and DJs trying to come up, and I ain't gonna put his stuff out, but
But y'all had Quick. Y'all had Quick.
But see, when we got Quick was with the groove. Quick wasn't. We just took Quick. Like, we love Quick, and Quick bow down to Quick. But
I mean, Quick kind of was the first one. He kind of was the first one.
He was kind of the first. He was kind of the first one. But you guys had such an array of different kind of rips, and it was hard. And I don't think people really talked about how hard it was for DJ Quick before Suge came around and that whole movement, because it was hard to be a rep in LA. And imagine you wearing that banner on you. Like, man, it was hard. It was hard.
Yeah.
It was. But and then the music that came out of that.
The thing about Quick though was that Rips didn't have no problem. Crips had no problem listening to Quick, even though he was a blood.
To some extent, though. But you got to remember, one of the things of those generations of B-Dogs was a lot of them, and they taught you, because you wanted to move around LA and San Diego and other places. So you just done it. You did the things that you did in a certain kind of way. So you wore red khakis in your neighborhood, but at the same time, you knew that made you a target. So you went to burgundy. P-Dog's wore theirs on the right, Rips wore it on the left. So it was certain things that you did. Maybe you get on the bus and you see like 3 Crip dudes with their rags hanging out. Blood dude gonna be just as hard, but he gonna have his put in there. And if he pull it out a little bit, he getting ready to get down. You just got to because back then it was fighting more. It was shooting, but it was fighting more.
Yeah.
And then certain schools,
you had to have hands.
At certain schools, it was both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like say for instance, Morningside High School, which is gone now in Inglewood. Morningside was a blood school. It was a pyro blood, whatever school you call. So, and it was in the hood too. So, and I remember some of my folks that was in a gang on the outskirts, right? One of the few Crip gangs at the time. Man, they had a hard time because everybody knew everybody, and a lot of them would have to go to other schools, right? And I remember seeing, and this particular person was my homie, right? And I seen him in my hood, and he was talking to this girl, and I was with my boy. He was like, "Who is that? Who is that?" I was like, "Oh man, that's my folks, man. He played football. So I never talked about it. So they was gonna get him. So years later, me and him was talking, met him through Facebook or something. I mean, I had got reconnected with him, and he was like,
"Yeah,
man, remember when I was over so and so house?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, they was gonna get you." Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I'm not saying that was right. I'm not saying, but the culture was different. So the respect was different because you knew when people came at you.
The times was different. Everything was different.
Yeah, B.
Everything was different. We weren't, you also have to remember, like, we weren't about instant gratification back then.
Right.
It was just like we was just living, like it was just life. Like, you know what I mean? It was like we remembered phone numbers, we did all those things, and it was just living life. Like,
you was it wrong though? Was it even now us as grown men? Can we say that we was a part of making
it
that
wasn't
brand?
wrong, but it wasn't right.
Yeah,
there's really no fault in it.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, if you survived it, if you survived it.
Yeah.
Because you look at, you don't own like, and I'm gonna say this. I hope people don't get mad at me. Kind of the first wave, in Southern California, because they had this thing called redlining, and redlining was in Southern California, blacks couldn't live certain places, Hispanics had to live certain. Like we were usually with Hispanics, but blacks couldn't buy houses next to white people. So we had certain areas. And even though indirectly they didn't put you in jail, you just kind of knew. You stayed in your sections. And sometimes your cities was close to a city that you couldn't live. And over time, people began to say those cities were better than your city. So say a lot of times when blacks started to migrate to Southern Cal, we went to Watts, we went to Compton, we went to certain parts of the city. And then as we got more economically got better, we would go to Inglewood, we would go to Linwood. And so the transition, so now when you Google Compton, the majority of people in Compton are not African Americans no more. They're probably Hispanics. And when you look at Inglewood, where it was pretty much predominantly black in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and there's nothing wrong. But as we transition and we look at economics and how it played, did gangbanging really help? Did you transition out of it? So many people died in high school that never got a chance to have a family, hurt their communities. And then once drugs came into play, remember the big homie that was the big homie that didn't have that much money, but you listened to him. And then once people start making money, they didn't listen to that big homie no more. They didn't listen to that big. They didn't listen to that big homie.
I think the problem with the drug game, what it brought out was a lot more of egos.
Right.
Because it was easy. Because it's easy to go get fronted some dope and turn around and make some money real quick, and then all of a sudden, what happens if you make some money? Easy money. You feel like you king dingaling.
Right, right.
But you not the head nigga in charge. You just another worker. But you got that pumped up in your chest like you got some money
But at the same time,
'cause it's
cultures
easy.
throughout when you look at history, every culture has had little boys groups, gangs, street gangs. You know, when you look
Yeah,
back
yeah,
at
yeah,
history,
yeah.
it's not just African
Always.
American men and Hispanic
No.
men and women, but it's been so much of an emphasis on us. You know what I mean? It's been an emphasis on Hispanics and blacks and like, ooh, you guys were former gang members. Like, ooh. And so, and again, I don't think
Yeah,
the
right.
story's been written all the way to say it
You
was
telling me
fun
that a
times.
lacrosse team together, ain't a gang?
Yeah, like
Or a
I
football
feel
team
like
or a
one of the
football for
benefits I
football
got,
team, like, like, that's all gangs. Everybody, they're all gangs.
and then kind of respecting when you go to other places, their version of what a gang is. Like I remember when I went
Yeah.
to college, and you know, me coming from Southern Cal, I was like, ain't nothing like LA. But then you go
Yeah.
to the Bay and you go, ooh, they don't have gangs,
Mhm.
but they got gangs. They don't
They
have
got it.
traditional gangs, but you go to 6 9ville, you go to so and so, you
Take
go
it
to
take it back to Quick, Quick
yeah,
said,
you go to
you
San
know,
Francisco, yeah, like
it's just
whoo,
like Compton.
yeah. So much love
That's
to
everywhere.
everybody. We just kind of we talking, and we had 3 or 4 other things we was going to talk about, but we was just wanted to just feed you a little bit and tell you what's going on in our heads. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to
Let
Rips
let you know we
Worldwide.
all relevant,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then and you tell I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it. You know how sometimes you can watch a video or you can see a young man and you go, man, you wasting all of that on gang banging when you could just you so dynamic, you really don't know the breadth of
Yeah.
what you in store for. Just that target on you and our the politics in the world right now, like where does gangbanging really play in the politics of world
I
domination
think
right
lots of
now?
things is like that, now that we dads and grandpas and you know what I mean, now that we old men, it's like you look at what other people do just in general life, you kind of look at it and be like, man, there's some better decisions you could be making with gangs, with,
Oh,
drugs, drinking, women, men, whatever it is that you with, like, it's like we don't look at things through that small microscope anymore. It's on a bigger scale.
oh, it's crazy. So I got a little bit of a story, and then we gonna close. I got a little bit. This is a gangbang story. This is a gangbang story. So I remember one of my cousins or homeboys, somebody was trying to chastise him, right? And so they called me, back then it was phones, right? And so he called me and he was like, man, so and so tripping with me, man. So and so tripping with me. Um, can you come over on Saturday? And I want you to get him. I was like, all right. And we all kind of did that because people did that for me. You know what I mean? It was just
Mhm.
it's part of that. So I go over there and everybody on little bikes, and he was like, oh, that's him. I was like, oh, what's up? So I go into my whole thing, and I'm a kid too, right? So I beat him up and I take his bike, right? I beat him up and I take his bike. And so the bravado, when you young, until you really know who you are, you emulate other people around you till you get your own, whatever. And so I took his
Mhm.
bike and I beat him up. And so me and my cousin leave, right? And we take his bike. So we throwing up stuff. So in LA, you going through many hoods. So we going back to my cousin's hood. So we go up this hill, and a whole 2 carloads of another gang came up and swiped him off the bike and swiped me off the bike and started shooting. We go up under the
Mhm.
car. We go up under the car. He go up under the car on the other side. They roll back around. They didn't see us. We get up from under the car, get the bike, and the bike broke. but we still trying to take the bike, and we running across the street. We're trying to get across the street. We get to his house, put the bike on the side of his house. We start laughing, the whole bravado, and we go in the house, and like nothing else happened. And I say that story to say that, so the karma that you put
At
out.
that time, you was juicy. You was like, oh, now you look back at
Oh
it,
yeah.
you like,
Oh yeah. I'm a big
you
homie
like,
from
nah.
so and so and so and so. But you see,
Yeah.
like the energy you put out fighting somebody, doing negative. I didn't know if my cousin was right or wrong why he was picking on him, even though he was bigger than him. So you made an enemy with that. You steal because you took a bike. And then you get your karma back instantly, right? Because somebody in a car with a whole bunch of people knock you off the bike. You could have got run over, shot at, and then we come home and we laughing and joking. And so I have like hundreds of them kind of stories, which help my rep. But what did it really help? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It
And that was on the P. You know what I'm saying? You know, and so, and it's tons of those. And so later on, I remember getting into a fight with somebody on the bus, and even though I didn't lose, I almost broke my arm. And then, you know what I mean? Like it's just tons of that stuff. And so I would love to musically as well as interview somebody currently in that scenario, but somebody that's out of it. Like, cause all of us are out of it. But the game ain't really been told yet. It's been televised over and over, but because it's different versions of the game, you know?
There's a lot of different versions. It's just like anything else, you know. Everybody has their own views on what they went through, how they lived it, what they were listening to at that time, what helped them get through that. Like, it's always moving. It's always changing.
I like that word. Always moving.
You made me think of a bike story. I was
give me one, Caddy. We gonna leave. Give me one, and we gonna shut it off. We gonna leave it on the C. Give me one, and I'm gonna shut up.
I got dropped off. It ain't even a gang story though. This is just
but it's all part of it.
So I got a ride from somebody, I don't remember who, to go see this female. I got dropped off, and her dad met me at the door and was like, "Nope, ain't happening. You get out of here." I'm on the other side of town. We ain't got cell phones. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get back home. So I'm walking. And it's way on the other side of town. So I'm walking. I'm like, fuck this. I see this bike sitting in this front yard. I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to take this bike. I'm just going to ride it home. I hop on this bike. I start riding. All of a sudden, this car comes by. It honks. Dude's yelling at me. I'm like, oh, shit. I stole out of his driveway. I just start riding. All of a sudden, this motherfucker just starts running behind me. And he's yelling at me. And he was like, motherfucker, you better stop. You better stop. He's like, you didn't know I'm a track star, an Olympian gold medal. Off-duty cop. Ex-Olympian track runner. Ran my ass down.
Did you hit a corner? Did you switch it on him?
I tried. I went through an alleyway, all kinds of stuff. He still caught me.
He caught you?
Caught me. Caught me. He had cuffs on him, cuffed.
Oh my God. Oh.
Off to juvenile hall.
Oh. Oh.
Karma.
Karma,
dude, came back around.
But didn't you learn something from that though?
I'd never steal anything again.
Or not on that street. Yeah.
It's okay.
So
stealing a bike like for nothing.
What did mom say?
Stupid. Why didn't you call somebody? I said, how you gonna call? Ain't got no phone. There was no payphones on that side of town where I was at, over by the park. No payphones. It was just like, it was raining.
So the music, look, we'll end it with this. So the music that you listen to now in generations after that brings you back to that moment. So when I listen to I Never Seen a Man Die, Till I Seen a Man Cry by Scarface.
Mhm.
Like certain stuff brings it back to that. And so a lot of times, like my kids will say, "Why your rap so angry? Why your rap like why your rap?" I'm like, I like all kinds of rap, but that experience even my experiences with like the big homies, like the big ones that's like everybody know on the internet, that some of them will be like, because I was always smart, right? I could always, was good in school, and so they would go, "Little homie, help me with this." So I would read the letters. I would write
Mhm.
the letters. Um, I would connect them with other people that could help them with certain stuff that I didn't necessarily know every part of it, but I always could figure stuff out. And so you
Enough to
need
be
homies like
dangerous.
that, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
And so
I
when
think
I
it's
went to
funny that I
college, they
think
was
it's
like, "Good look for you," and then
yeah.
and then and in our culture, we relate anything that's changing or doing better sometimes as, "Oh, you think you better than us?" A lot of the big homies was like, "Man, you go do your thing.
That's how
You
they're
go."
supposed to be. That's how it was supposed to be always was, you know what I mean? You were supposed to sit there and take the young ones and be like the YGs and be like, "Hey, no, you need to go do this. You're like you need to get out and bring knowledge and stuff back to the hood. Like that's what you're supposed to do. Like you're not supposed to
But it
sit there and
wasn't
just
always, you know what I mean?
yeah, it wasn't always like that.
So
It's
how do
funny how
you
the youngins
feel
say our music is angry, but it's not. I don't think that our music like was angrier. I think it was just our music actually hits the soul and makes you feel something. Whereas
right.
their new music is just, oh, it's all about a vibe, but their vibe is just, it's
Yeah,
weak.
Percocet.
There's nothing,
Perk.
there's no substance there. There's no soul there. Like all those people who are doing music now, like, yeah, sure, it's good. Like I'm not knocking
Right,
anybody.
right,
You
right,
do what you do. You know what I
right.
mean? But for me, there's no substance. There's no soul to it. So when somebody sits there and says, "Oh, your music was more angry," no, it just had soul to it. Like it had something there.
But
Like
when you look at the new music that's out now, a lot of the old artists, people aren't listening to them. They not
yeah,
listening
which
to
is
them.
sad. There's
Like I
so
listened to
much
Eric
music out
Sermon's
there.
album last night, and it was good,
Mhm.
but it was
It
Eric
was. It was
Sermon.
good,
It
but
was
I
Eric
mean,
Sermon, right?
yeah,
He
yeah,
even
yeah,
had a song on there with EPMD. I mean, him in Paris, and he had a
yeah, yeah,
song on
yeah.
there with Salt and Pepper. Like, yeah, like
I
respect
mean, it
to
was to a
E
duos. He had
Double.
everybody. He had Cypress Hill on there. He had everybody on there.
But one of my
How much you think that
favorites.
album will get talked about
Somebody got to get shot. Oh, you know what? He was on the new Diddy documentary, the new Diddy one that's on Netflix
on
with
Netflix that 50 Cent put out?
y- yeah, yeah, yeah. He said Diddy
That's
tried
out.
to snuff him. Diddy tried to snuff him because he was dating when he dated Misa Hilton. Puff's
Mhm.
first baby mom, I think. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And this was, and I'm gonna say this too, right? So when he talks about it in the doc, he says, "That fool snuffing me." I said, "Get in the car. We're gonna go around the corner and fight." That's our generation.
That's it. That's it.
That's what he said. He said, "Get in the car. We're gonna go around and fight." And then Puff said, "Listen to this song." Like, and when they finally pulled over, they didn't even fight. It was whatever the song. I don't know if it was Biggie or whoever,
Mhm.
but he said, "Listen to the song." But he said that's the kind of things we would do back in them days. Like, fool, let's go around the corner and fight.
Yeah.
Go around the corner and fight, and you would be scared too. You would be scared, be like,
Yeah.
"Man, I gotta go around the corner and fight this dude." And that's
Yeah.
what
I
he
remember
said
my
in
dad
it.
talking about like, that's how it was. You just went out back. Cousins,
But
nephews,
that's not
anybody,
happening
anybody.
no more. That's not happening
No,
no
no.
more.
No, you ain't gonna sit there. You know what I mean? Like Galaxy ain't gonna be like, "Oh, Dad, I got a problem with you. We gonna go out back."
No, 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 no.
You can be like, "Nigga, I wish you would."
Shout out to E Double for letting Puff snuff him, tell him to get in the car, go around the corner, and listen to a hit. I mean, hey, shout out the Green Eye Bandit.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
buy his new album.
yeah. Like, I mean, but there's a lot out. There's like nobody people like. There's a lot of the older music that's out, but ain't nobody talking about it.
Right, right. And we keep hearing about these new platforms like Rock Nation is doing a new platform, like, but even just getting it out. people need to make their ends and their coins. Everybody ain't got a
Yeah.
retirement plan. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, I haven't heard too many people talk about the De La Soul album.
I
The,
know.
it's like, and I think it's good. I don't think it's great. It's good.
But good is enough. I mean, maybe just good wouldn't have been that in the 90s or the early 2000s where you had to go
Yeah.
buy the album and you sat there and listened to it in your car or your old school. But nowadays, you listening to it mostly on your phone.
Yeah. You just streaming it. It's in your earbuds. It's you know what I mean? It's in your cars and whatever, however you listen to your music at. Yeah, for sure.
I listened to
You
Eric
don't.
Sermon album twice all the way and fell asleep on it. And another great album that I really like this year was Public Enemy's last album they put out. And I like the direction they went. I like that it's still their signature sound, but newer.
The Public Enemy one or the Chuck D one?
No, the Public Enemy one. Like it was like him and Chuck. I mean, even Flav got a song on there. Like, but I'm a
Yeah.
fan. Definitely. Come from that school.
Yeah.
You know what I
No.
mean? And so,
Like I said before, I don't think any of the old head albums that have came out in the last year and a half, I don't think any of them were really bad. I
right,
think they all
right.
I think they all were good. I think they all had their place, and they're all still legends.
But
But they don't have that machine behind them to push them and be like, "Oh, here you go."
now you getting ready to go and go handle your business. What's the last old school album that you put on? Like when you get in the car with your girl, what you gonna put on when you get in the car? What could you put on? Would you bump
Like,
Brandy or Monica because they on tour right now? Oh, you don't even listen to R&B. Oh, I'm open. I'm trying to close it out, and I'm opening up a whole nother thing.
I listen to
Some woman
R&B,
hurt
like,
you.
I
I
mean,
think some woman hurt
like
you. I think a woman
like
hurt
the
you in the
October
2000s or the
London and
90s.
stuff like that. We all
Right.
have been. No, we
Nope.
usually it's gonna be like some EPMD or something or some EDM or something like that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's gonna be something. It's usually on Sirius. It's usually EDM or some Rock the Bells or.
I got to talk to your wifey. I'm gonna have a conversation. She's gonna be real direct with me and just tell me whatever. But I'm gonna still push the line. I'm pushing the line. Look, you let her know I'm pushing the line when I say it. She's gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna put him in check. But hey, shout out to folks. But we
You
gonna
always
close
catch
it
her
out.
when she's getting ready or something, but you gonna catch her one time when she gonna be up.
We gonna close it out. But our next show coming up real soon. We talking about music that was in our homes, music's our mothers like, and how it
the
affected
mother's
us and what it meant.
playlists.
And so be on the lookout for that one. Just music our moms like.
So before we close it out, what's the one song that can come on that your mom used to play that actually like it makes you want to like stop what you're doing, or like it makes you want to like maybe tear up, or that like bring back like an emotional feeling? One song, just one.
For me, probably May's Joy and Pain. And
It's
I
hard to
say
listen
that
to.
May's Joy and Pain because I say my mom, we didn't have the best relationship, but I definitely feel like my musical beginnings, she contributed to it. And whenever she put Maze on, it was just, she would just go, her whole vibe would change. So when I listen to Joy and Pain, it connects me to Houston. It connects me to South Central. It connects me to Compton, Watts, Inglewood, like everything, like Joy and Pain, and the lyrics to that. Like it's not worldwide. It's no one culture. Like that song is like everybody has experienced joy and pain. And what's crazy about my mama, with all her swagger, all her South Centralness, she loves James Taylor. So I grew up loving James Taylor. And I didn't even know he was technically folk kind of, so She could go from Maze and Frankie Beverly to James Taylor, and I'm like, damn, shower the people with love. I was like, damn, I didn't even know that was on some white stuff. You know what I mean? Because music brings everybody. Well, it should.
It do. See that next episode, y'all got. See, that was just a little taste of the next episode. Y'all gotta come back.
You ain't gonna throw me one. Look, you ain't gonna throw me one from Moms because I know Moms. Look, you ain't gonna throw me one. Just
so
one.
after my mom's passed, we were watching some movie. I can't remember what it was, and Dolly Parton, Jolene came on, and I just.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she used to just sing that at the top of her lungs. You know what I mean? So that was probably that one, like one of those ones.
Music is
like
powerful.
She used to love that.
Caddy, music is powerful. And that's why one of the things of us doing this show, talking about music and how it intertwines with everything, that it's, it should be, and maybe it is elevating. Maybe it's okay that we say certain stuff is not fed into right, or it's not as quality, or they make songs a minute and 28 seconds and not 4 or 3.5 anymore. Like, maybe that's okay for right now. You know what I mean? Maybe we couldn't have a Marvin Gaye right now with our current political parties right now. Maybe if we had a Marvin Gaye, maybe they would have killed them right now. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's not to be televised.
Yeah.
Ooh. So shout out to Jolene, shout out to Moms, both moms. We getting up out of here, y'all. We gonna get Caddy another day, and then we gonna it's gonna be our sensitive chapter. It's gonna be our sensitive one. It's gonna be yeah. It's gonna be. I'm getting off.
We got some Kleenex.
Peace, y'all.